Welcome to the Sensitive Warrior, where feeling everything is your superpower. Hi, I'm Doreen Lang. I'm your host, and I'm also the author of Embracing Venus, Achieve a Life Lit Up for Highly Sensitive People. And I'm also a Reiki Master and Reiki Practitioner located in Blossom Healing Studio in Norwell, Massachusetts. And lastly, and what's near and dear to my heart, is I'm a coach for highly sensitive people, whether it's a stressed out CEO or it's a CNA with a huge heart. I help people in my studio and virtually. I coach them to get more clarity in a program I call Embracing Venus. And if you're interested in hearing about that, stay tuned to the end and you can reach out to me. So what we're here to do is help highly sensitive people thrive. I'm very excited today. We have someone very special who has been in the industry a very long time. Her name is Andrea Kukulka, and she is the founder of Illumination Center in Mansfield, Massachusetts. And she has her studio now, this is your 4th year anniversary. Mm-hmm. Congratulations. She is a Reiki master as well, and she's also a spiritual life coach and mentor. So today we are going to talk about something very special. So I'm very glad you're here, and I'm very glad she's here. So welcome.
Hi.
Yeah,
it's nice to be here.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. So today's talk is going to be something that I'm not sure that you've heard before, listeners. It's something very interesting. You know, my spiritual journey was a big wake-up call. It was a physical, I literally broke down, which turned out to be, honestly, the best thing that could have happened to me. But at the time, I didn't know it. And I was searching for answers. It turned into a book, turned into me opening a Reiki studio, helping people do the work I love and I was meant to do. But it's hard for people to get to that place. I know I struggled. And there are a lot of resources out there. There's books on your spiritual awakening. There's books in audiobooks, and there's videos, and there's classes, and many programs. And some are terrific. But how do you find yours? Because it's all about community, as Andrea believes, and she's going to share. And it's all about trusting yourself, but also being able to be very comfortable with who you're working with, right? It's like the two of you are working for your own good. So how do you find your right people? So today we're going to talk about some crazy stories of people who didn't find their people and found their way to me and found their way to Andrea to say, I've arrived. But we're going to try to help you not have to have the pain of finding that. So hopefully you're going to learn today how to find people who will help, guide, and really kind of put their arm around you, so to say, and help you on and find your spiritual journey. So what do you think?
I love this topic. It's one of my favorites because I'm all about community.
All about community. Beautiful. Yeah. So before we jump in, and we want so much for the people to learn, and they will, but let's just talk a little bit about you so they can find out who you are. So okay. Andrea, the spotlight's on you.
I'm Andrea, and I've been studying metaphysics since the late 80s.
And tell people what metaphysics are.
Oh, I'd love to. Metaphysics is a huge umbrella. And in that umbrella, we have tarot cards and oracle cards. We have Reiki. We have all the healing modalities, which is its own little umbrella because there are so many of them. Mm-hmm. We have mediumship, anything to do with the intuitions. Metaphysics can be as simple as a gut feeling, or it can be bringing in your guides. It can be bringing in somebody else's guides. It can be light language. It can be so many beautiful things. But the way I like to think about metaphysics is that it's you learning from a greater energy. Greater than, say, you and I having a conversation. Mm-hmm. It's when you're able to lift out of the human brain, shut the brain off, and get your information from a higher source.
Beautiful. I think you explained that beautifully. I wish actually we had people that could call in because I'm sure people have more questions about that, but hopefully you'll answer them as you go on.
I hope so.
Yeah, so that's been a fascination. For how long have you been working in that arena?
Well, I came out of the metaphysical closet in 2012 and actually started doing the work.
Okay.
I had always done it for friends and family, but I started doing it professionally in 2012.
So when you say doing it, can you give us an example of what you did of the doing so
Yeah.
people have an idea what you're talking about?
Okay, so in 2010, I believe, might have been 29.
That's okay. I don't think a year
Anyway,
people are going to
yeah.
get hung up on.
In that time,
Yeah.
a friend of mine, she was my best friend growing up. Her youngest brother died. And I remember going into meditation like a week after he passed, not even a week. And I had put it out there.
And this is normal for you to go into the meditation.
Oh, yeah.
So you were always meditating.
Actually, I learned how to meditate in high school. I went to Brockton High, if you know Brockton High. It's huge. And our electives were enormous.
Wow.
So my health elective, I took yoga. And my yoga teacher was, she was
Passionate
incredible.
about it.
She was. And she taught us all how to meditate.
Wow.
So I've been meditating since high school.
Wow, that's terrific.
So when I went into meditation that day, my intention was to meet Jimmy and let him know that I'm here, because his passing was not an easy one. It was quite traumatic.
Oh, boy.
So at the end of my meditation, I was almost coming out of it, and I was kind of bummed that Jimmy didn't come forward. But I also knew it was early. It was less than a week, and it was a traumatic passing. I didn't know if he was ready yet anyway. But then off in the distance, I could see the forest, and there was this wide tree, and Jimmy poked his head out from behind the tree, and he looked at me and he gave me a nod, and he let me know, not yet, but I'll be there. And then a couple weeks later, he was hanging out in my kitchen, and he'd tap me on the shoulder and he'd say, call my sister. And that one call my sister turned into call my sisters. He had 3 sisters. Eventually, one sister, then 2 sisters, then the mom, then his wife, all his sisters came to visit with me and get messages from Jimmy. But he's the guy that in the end said to me, okay, now you have to do this for other people.
Wow. So that was it.
Yep.
That is very powerful.
Yep.
That's very powerful.
So it's Jimmy's fault.
It's Jimmy's fault. We love Jimmy.
We do. We love
We
Jimmy.
love Jimmy.
Yeah.
Let's, if we could, let's just talk a little bit more about that, because I think people find that fascinating. So many people come into my Reiki studio during my programs and all, and they'll say to me, I would love to do this, but I just can't. And I don't believe that, because
I don't believe it
I
either.
believe that I am honestly like everybody else. I have had incredible intuition. I've had incredible visions. They've been correct. I know you have too. I've met you. So I feel like I'm still that little girl from Watertown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But this is real. So when you say this happened to you when you were meditating since high school, and then this happened with Jimmy, was this your first connection with something out of the, okay, so you'd been connecting for a while.
Long time.
A long time.
A very long time,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, would you say that you could hang that on the hook of being meditating because it happened during those times? Or for the most part? Or for some part?
No, I don't have to be in meditation for that to happen.
Okay.
It can happen anytime.
Did it start with meditation? Did it start calming your mind?
Maybe, yes. Because
started
that's the
calming
key.
your
You're
mind.
so absolutely right. I see where you're going. Yes.
Yeah.
If you can, and this is what I teach my students all the time, if you can take your brain out,
Yes. Yes. You know how I see it as? People laugh at me, and I try not to do this around lunchtime because it's about pizza, is that I tell people, your head, right? You're a human doing, not a human being. You're always doing. The list, how am I going to get here to there? What do I have to do today? Tomorrow's my long day. Always thinking, filling.
Yeah, that laundry
But
list.
I tell my clients, and I bet you can relate, I try to do it this way so they see a visual. I say, there's this little slice in the back of your mind. Picture like when you have pizza. and you have 2 or 3 pieces, and you know you shouldn't have any more. It's 8 at night, but you just would love one more piece. So you just like go over to it, and you slice this little teeny piece off. And you think, you feel indulgent because you got one more, even though it was a tiny slice. It's a nothing slice, but it made all the difference. It's full for you because it's that last piece. I picture that size slice in the back of your mind is where you hold your wisdom, and you hold your quiet, and you hold your answers, and you hold your passions and your loves, and you won't get there if you can't calm everything else. It's there, but it's this tiny slice, and some people have a whole head of pizza, right? And other people are walking around with just this little slice they can't even get to.
Oh, I love that analogy.
It's
That's
kind of
beautiful.
ridiculous, but you can picture, though, that if you are so full of everything else, you can't get to the quiet,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And that's what this is all about.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we talk about in a moment, we talk about how people are going to, with your help, you're going to help them understand how to find their people. People are, if you're waking up today and you've thought about all the different signs and maybe a past level of one that you want to connect with, or maybe you have connected with, and you're confused and you need guidance and help, and you just don't even know where to turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not crazy. You're amazing. You're human, and we pretty much almost everyone has this ability and capacity, but trying to navigate to get help to understand it and open up. That's the challenge. That's kind of hard to do on your own. It doesn't come with an instruction manual.
That's right.
But again, people have come into my studio and told me that, oh, I'm so glad I found you, Doreen, which is really, really pretty amazing, because you think, wow, we've arrived.
Yep.
We can work together. We get each other. That's pretty special.
They're divinely led to you.
They're divinely led to you. So what do you tell people? How do you tell people when you're working with them, when they come to you, or a story or two of just what I'm talking about?
Well, I teach them a physical trick. So my space is, we have practitioners that work in my space. And people will often call or send me an email and say, I'm looking to do this, or I'm curious about that. So I try to help them find the right person for them. It's one thing for me to say, oh, I feel that you need to do this with this practitioner, or that with that practitioner. But if they can find it for themselves, it empowers them to do it. So I lead them through a little exercise. And if they're in front of me, it's easier. But even if they're online and they're in my website and they're looking at the list, because I've got a long list of services, I'll encourage them to either print it out or just look at it on the screen and put their finger on either the service or the person, whichever they're led to, whichever they really feel a pull to. And I ask them to stand up. Feet are, and this is great for everyone. Try this with everything you do. Feet, hips width apart, knees are soft, but back is straight and strong. Put your finger on the cup. Is this the right cup for my highest and best? That's the key phrase. Will it work with me? Always with, never for, because you're part of the problem, not the problem, you're part of the solution. Will this work with me for my highest and best? So will this practitioner work with me for my highest and best? And you let the energy of whatever that is get you to sway either forward or backwards.
Interesting. So swaying, the way your body energy moves with that question.
Exactly. Because the key is your body knows. You're asking all the cells in your body. Your body always knows the answer to the question. So find out which way is your yes and which way. First thing you always ask is, show me yes. Typically it's forward, but not all the time. Show me no. And every 6 months or so, ask that again. Because as our vibrations change, as you take that class, as you meet with that practitioner, your vibration changes.
It's so interesting. It's so true.
Yeah.
You know, you made me just think about something, and I bet you could agree. I was in corporate America for over 25 years. Were you in corporate America?
A little bit, but not like
Okay,
big
so you
corporations.
got how it can run. You
Yeah.
got it. You got it.
I
Don't
worked
have
in
to be too
offices.
long. You got it. When you're hiring somebody, or when you're interviewing, it feels like, right, the same
Yeah.
thing. How do you? I always say to people, I'm not sure. Someone will say to me, I met this person. I'm not sure how I feel, and I always say, how did you feel when they left the room?
That's a good question.
And or how did you feel when you walked out of the room? Soon as you stepped away, were you excited or were you?
Yeah, were you relieved that they left? Did they bring you joy?
And your body knows that. You don't even have to think.
Yeah.
The body has that speed of wisdom, knowledge so fast, you know.
Well, that's the whole. That goes back to people don't remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel.
Exactly, same thing, right?
Yeah.
A wonderful woman, wise woman. So, tell me about tell me, you've been, obviously this is your 4th year in the Mansfield Illumination Center, which is a beautiful name. Tell us a story maybe of somebody that's come in and kind of found their way, or told you about a story that they hadn't found their way, or to give people an idea of that this can work. You just you have to know how to do it.
So a lot of people, as soon as anybody comes in, I ask them, "How did you find me?" Usually, it's word of mouth, which is the best thing,
Which
right?
is the best thing.
Sometimes they've seen my TikToks, or I've come through their Facebook, or whatever it is. But quite often, and this particular one is a lot of fun. They'll say they were looking for something online, and my shop came up. So within the last, I want to say, year and a half, this one particular woman, and she reminds me all the time. She was looking for a crystal. She wanted a particular crystal.
Oh, okay.
And my shop came up.
Okay.
Terrific, because I have a little retail space. We do our services, and there's a little retail space. And she came in. She was looking for one particular stone. So I had her do the whole thing with the stone. Will this stone work with me for my highest and best?
Oh my
And
God,
she
I love
got a
that.
yes. And then she picked out another stone.
Oh boy.
Will this stone work with me? I don't let people buy jewelry. I don't let them buy a piece of jewelry until they've asked, is this the piece for me?
And do people sometimes say no?
Yep. If your body says no, I make them put it back. Oh, but it's so pretty. I wanted that one. But that's not going to work for you. So let's find something else.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like
or
that.
let's find a different practitioner. Or let's find a different class.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those things change. Those answers will change as your vibration shifts. So we all need to go back every once in a while and check again. Is this still the practitioner for me?
So it's not about location. It's not about how you found people. It's about
Energy.
Energy. How you're feeling and how your body responds immediately. Not no thought.
Exactly. I have
So
one client that I've been working with, oh God, at least 10 years, maybe more, because I used to have another shop in Mansfield prior to COVID.
Mm-hmm.
She had been coming to me forever. And then she knows how to do that because she was my student. She's a Reiki master now. She teaches. Watching her bloom has been absolutely gorgeous. She asked at one point, because something wasn't feeling right, she needed something. So she asked, is this the time that I go back to Andrea for a session? And she kept getting a no. So she found someone to work with, and it worked for her. It got her through this part of her life that she needed assistance to push through. And then she revisited again and asked, who do I go to next? Do I stay with this person? Do I go back to Andrea? And she's been booking with me again.
Yeah.
So
She trusted that. And you
she
helped her trust
did.
that. You helped her trust that.
She did, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
She was able to go where her energy would respond best.
Right, right.
Yeah. So there's so
Yeah.
much for everybody in every place.
You're so right. You're so right. I think what makes kind of my heart sore, and I know yours as well, I just could feel it, is that when people are in the right place, they thrive.
They do, right?
And they open up in such a way where it surprises them. there's nothing more exciting than to have somebody say, I can't believe that, or I can do this, or I thought I was going crazy, and now I understand that I have the ability to do this, and I can't share it with just anybody, so I'm happy to be here. Because even people's spouses who can be very loving and supportive, they're not telling their brother about it.
That's right.
They're not telling their neighbor about it. You wouldn't believe what my wife saw last night. That's not happening. But they're there to tell you. But it's so wonderful to be able to go somewhere and just be yourself. Mm-hmm. I think that's a wonderful safe community. Wonderful safe community. Yeah. Finding your people. It's so much about finding your people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you feel safe. And when you feel safe, you can be who you are. Your pretenses fall away.
Right. You're
which
so
is
right.
beautiful.
And I know we both know Phyllis.
Phyllis, my girl.
Simonetta, she's wonderful, and she was my Reiki teacher.
Yeah.
And when I was when I was getting the master's class, I wasn't sure what was going to happen for me. It all felt amazing, but I hadn't gone anywhere. I was still stuck in my body. Yeah. But with one of her sessions, I was able to leave. And I was able to literally leave and go, and I'm around, and it's in my book because it's a very tearful story, but people say they love it because they feel they can see their mother again, because I've kind of, I saw my mother again. Excuse me, allergies. So, but it was getting very quiet. And some of those meditations at first, they were very challenging. So this is a little bit of work, right?
Yeah.
If you have to partner, I really do believe that. I see a new woman today to coach with me. I hope she joins my program because I really like her, and I know her heart. But the first thing I say to her is it's a partnership. Yeah. It really is. I'm here for you. I'm going to offer this beautiful sacred space. I get you. I see your heart. I know where you want to go. I believe I'm your right person. But you have to want it, feel it, and you have to partner with me. You have to show up and be just as present as me. If you're distracted, or if you think, my husband doesn't believe this, I'm not sure I do. I feel as though, that's what you think. I feel people aren't in it to win it.
Right.
They really need to come, and you've got to see. So I won't take somebody on if I don't feel like, I want to be here, I want to do this, I'm all in, I want to be open. Right?
Those are your people.
Those are your people.
Yep.
So it's a two-way street, really.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
It goes back to, will this work with me for my highest and best, right?
Yes.
Because if they're not a participant, if they want you to do the work for them, that's not going to work.
So right.
But if they're doing it with you, then they're opening themselves to learn and accept the homework that you give them too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that was really helpful for people to kind of really trust that.
Yeah.
So share with us right now what you're excited about. What are you working on right now that's just very exciting? Maybe you'd like to share with us so people can see the work you're doing over at your Illumination Center.
Well, I started a program for metaphysics, metaphysical mentorship, where I get to share everything that I've been learning and studying and developing on my own for the last 30 years.
30 years, wow.
More than
that's a big.
More than 30, yeah.
That's an important program.
It really is, and people get a lot out of it. And it's online, so you can join from anywhere. It's
Is it a group or is it one-on-one?
It's a group. So
I find that people enjoy those.
It's the community. They have each other, they can bounce stuff off each other. And we have a Facebook group so everybody can, and it's private. Nobody is invited in unless
it's your people.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they feel safe.
Yeah, they feel safe.
Community makes people feel safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But I love that. I love that. We're doing intuition this month. So I do a month at a time. Sometimes it's a little more than a month, but I do one subject each month. And this month we're talking about increasing the intuition.
Increasing intuition. Yeah. I had a woman come see me and she said, I really want to develop my intuition. How do I do that? So people have the real questions around it.
Yep.
They really do.
Yep.
So what's some of the things that you would suggest for people that are listening about intuition? Some of the things you talk about.
Getting them to take the brain out is easily said.
So true.
But it is difficult. It is difficult, especially if you're an overthinker or if you're an analytic type of person or a researcher.
Right, because your brain has been kind of trained a certain
Yeah.
way. And then there's the ego that gets in the way, right? The ego that
Ooh.
says, I should know this, I should be better at this.
Or who am I thinking that I can do this?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the intuitives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ego's a bummer sometimes. We need our ego, you know.
We do.
Otherwise, I wouldn't sit in this chair today. Right?
Right. But there's healthy ego. There's healthy ego, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah. I had a woman come to me a couple weeks ago. She's a regular client. She comes in for Reiki, and now she's in my program. And she said, you know, I've been worried about my son's son. He's in Minnesota. And he was lucky enough to escape that whole incredible storm.
Oh, yeah.
So he's okay. She said, but I've just been thinking about him a lot lately. And I said, how old is he? And she said, 19. And I said, sweet. You know, she said, yeah, he's very sweet, very handsome, sweet. She showed me his picture on her phone. And she said, but I've been thinking about him a lot. And I've been going to bed with my jaw aching. It's just been aching. And I know what this means for her because I know this woman. And I said, why don't you just, she says, it's hard to get him. He works all these hours. I said, call him or text him anyways and find out how he's doing and what is he up to. And she said the next day she texted me, she said he's having, getting braces on. So she's been missing him and she's been thinking about him. And this is kind of what we're sharing about getting quiet, helping yourself get quiet and receiving messages and receiving information that you would not normally be open to because there's no opening.
Oh, right.
There's no opening.
So the body will find a way to do it.
The body will find a way to do it. Yeah.
Physical empathy.
Yeah. So when did you, and I know we're kind of wrapping up, we have about 3 minutes left, but when did you kind of find out that you were a highly sensitive person? You were an HSP?
Oh, I fought it. Even though it was happening, I wouldn't admit it.
Yeah.
But I realized that when I'm working on a person, when I have someone on my table, I can feel where they hurt in my own body. And I was like, oh, I have to admit I'm a physical empath.
Yeah, you are a physical empath.
I am.
Yeah.
I mean, I can admit to all of it now, but it was the physical part that made me say, all right.
Yeah.
And in part because sometimes it comes with you're so sensitive, because I was called sensitive.
Yeah, of course.
All growing up, of course. You're
Yeah.
so sensitive. So I didn't want to admit to it. But then I was like, all right, I'm going to own this.
Yeah.
And I developed some skills to go with it. And
speaking of little kids, I've got a 9-year-old boy that comes to me for Reiki.
oh,
Yeah, because he's highly sensitive. He's a sweet boy, smart, loves football. He's a highly sensitive kid.
Yeah.
So it's not about the age, but you did fight it.
That's right.
Yeah, you fought it. But that's the beautiful thing about where you are now, is you can embrace people and say, we got this.
Yeah. And I remind people that it's not a weakness, it's a superpower.
It is. It is a superpower. It has been so nice having you on. I think 30 minutes just about almost flew. Is there any last thing you'd like to either share or with anyone in terms of
you know what I would like to share? I want to, and I'm going to tell you, I want to encourage everyone to just be. If you can find that stillness, even if it's just for a few minutes in the day, and you can just be, if you're not worrying about the future,
give your permission,
or
self-permission
obsessing about
to be.
the past, you can be present. That's the number one step to getting grounded.
Yep. And the first step to get open.
And open. Stillness.
Get there.
It not only grounds you, but it connects you. And you can only go as high as you go low. As above, so below.
I love it. You can only go high as you can go low. Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's been interesting.
Fun.
It's been fascinating discussion with Andrea. If you would like to learn more about Andrea, reach out to me at Doreen@blossomhealingstudio.com, and I will connect you up the same day. If you are ready to connect with your sensitivity, reach out to me. I'm local, of course. This is the local scene. I'm local to you. I'm at Doreen@blossomhealingstudio.com, and I'm happy to help you and, again, connect you with Andrea as well. Next time, we have an interesting woman, Marcy Bracken. She's coming in next. And she and her partner, her business partner, puts diversity on an incredible magazine that gives women an incredible voice that are also highly sensitive people. So thank you for joining us. Until next time.